Welcome to the live stream. Now, this isn't a podcast show. This isn't anything other than a complete focus on Arti, who is a very different one and is an incredible speaker and trainer who is here to help people understand how to make media work for you in your businesses. She has an event coming up very soon, and I wanted to help spread the word about that. And so Arti is on the live stream with me today to tell us exactly what's going on with the event, who she is, what she's doing, and why you might want to make sure that you get your seat booked at her free event, which is coming up very soon. So let me please introduce to you Arti Halai. Welcome to my live stream.
Oh, I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you, Johnny. It's lovely to see you too. We met a while ago, actually, didn't we?
We did, and I'm so glad we did. And with the Harveka trainings that I've been working with, we met through that, and you definitely stood out as somebody who already was so advanced in what they were doing and very far ahead. In a train the trainer kind of program, you were definitely head and shoulders, standing out in the crowd there as someone who was very advanced, to a point where I was even thinking, why are you in this program? you seem to really have your stuff together, and you do. And conversations we've had during that time and since then have shown me that not only do you have a wealth of media experience and speaking experience, but you also are a great person to learn from as well. So tell us a little bit about your background and experience.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. You're so kind. I mean, I could wax lyrical about you too.
We'll save that for another live stream, huh?
I'd better not digress because, media is we want to be to the point. Background, top line. I always say I have had 3 careers. I've been really fortunate in my life. My first career was media. So for more than 15 years, I worked in television. Started in radio at the BBC and then kind of moved into television very, very quickly. I've worked with all the big organizations. So I've worked with the BBC, Carlton and Mirror Group, ITV, where I spent almost 10 years. And in that time, I've also had a couple of different roles. So news and current affairs has always been my background, but I was a reporter out on the road, getting to the heart of the story. I then realized that I had this one lacking skill that every reporter needs. So we'll come on to that in a minute. And I decided I was better suited to be a producer, where I looked at, what stories would make the news on the day, what treatment we would give those stories, before becoming the presenter, which is what I'd always set my heart on being. And, when you're a presenter, you're communicating a message. There's a lot that rests on your shoulders because it's really everybody's work, and you're pulling it together and you're delivering it so that it lands with the people at home or whoever your audience is. So top line, that was my first career. And then the last 10 years I've spent in the world of business. And that's been interesting too. When I came out of the media, I realized I had all this fantastic skill set in communications, in getting your message across, in how to tell the story. And I dabbled a bit in business, and I'd been okay at that, but I wanted to build something. So I joined forces with somebody who had done it before, a lovely man called Steve Dan, who was my business partner. And we set up our first little company. His background was PR. Mine was being in the industry itself. And we thought we could offer this holistic approach to businesses. And then before we knew it, 2009, first company was set up. 2010, a second company emerged. In 2011, a third company emerged. So we have a PR agency and a creative design agency. And the last 2 businesses both grew parallel to reach 7 figures. So third career, being a mummy. Most challenging and rewarding. And I class it as a career.
I wholeheartedly agree. Fantastic. So you really know your stuff, and you're a mum on top of it. So we know you can do everything. Here's what we want to get to today then. You are now helping people to smash the media myths around being able to use media and PR for their business. Why you, and who are you helping?
Okay, so let's take the first question. Why me, first of all? I think predominantly because there are a lot of media trainers out there. They'll be great. So much depends on your style as well as your content, because, certain communication styles resonate with certain people. And that's why I think, there's a plethora of people, information, that's all fine. Why me? Because I offer much more than just that media training. That is, for me, is a given. When it comes to working in that space, you have to be an expert and brilliant in that space. And you have to have the track record. So you have to be able to demonstrate your experience and the types of stories you've covered and the organizations you've worked for, and the longevity and the credibility and all of that. Along with that, I think, is the caliber of clients that you work with. So who are these clients? And I think from day one, when I worked with a client, I asked them for a testimonial. And not only did I ask them for a testimonial, I said to them, if you feel I offered you maximum value, would you put your name to that testimonial? And every single person to date has done that. So my website and my information has never been general manager, retail. It has been specifically the person, their role, and where they've worked. And then I think the third thing, which is also really important, is that I'm really interested in human behavior and psychology, and particularly accelerated learning techniques. And, neuro-linguistic programming, I'm a practitioner in that. I did my training in 2006 when it was so new. Again, there's been some great advancement in that arena. Emotional intelligence, I'm a practitioner in that. I love psychocybernetics. I love coaching and mentoring. I've got a level 5 from the Institute of Leadership and Management in that. And fundamentally, those things tap into accelerated learning techniques.
Yeah. Why is
because you were my coach.
Why is accelerated learning techniques important here?
Fundamentally, because time is the most precious commodity we have. And the leaders of businesses, particularly given the space we find ourselves in at the moment with COVID-19 and that uncertainty still there, of course, business leaders have a lot of work to do. They've got a huge amount on their plate at the moment. But really, they are able to grasp things really quickly, really fast. And to be honest, 3 hours, half a day could set someone up so fast, because that's what accelerated learning is all about. I do all the research, I do all the groundwork. I'll find out about your business, etc., and then I'll create something bespoke with laser sharp focus. And that's going to make the difference.
That's what we all want when we're learning stuff. So let's come to who this is for. You are solving an issue of being able to make media work for you. And who are you targeting for that? Who are the ideal people that you want to work with?
I think ideally I'm looking for people who have set up, created, to own their own businesses. Directors, I'm looking for people who maybe sit on the boards, who have a strategic input to this type of business, this scale of business. C-suites. This is a new word, isn't it, that we're using all the time now. You're chief executive officer, you're chief marketing officer, you're chief financial officer, you're chief operating officer. I'm looking at people who lead teams, who employ staff. So they're really the sort of people that I'm targeting.
Yeah. And what are the problems that those kinds of C-suite level and executive people have when it comes to media utilization?
I think one of the biggest problems is they don't want to do it. Either they feel like, no, I know all this already, or it's not in my camp, it's not for me to do. It's, somebody else does it, or we have a department that does it, or, they just feel that actually no. And there's a couple of things in there, I think. And fundamentally, I think in today's day and age, when every single person has a phone that can record, that can take messages, that can play pictures, then nobody really is safe from that glaring media gaze. And, once upon a time, when I started in the industry in 1999, there were 5 channels.
Yeah.
Right? Now there's hundreds.
Right.
Actually, newsrooms tend to run now with stories that have been sent to them using this medium, using this device on the phone. We've seen it again and again and again. George Floyd was a classic example that was caught by people, passers-by. United Airlines and that incident when Dr. David Dow refused to give up his seat, the seat that he had paid for, because United Airlines had overbooked and wanted to bump off a few of the passengers so they could put their own crew. And, when he was violently and abruptly removed from a seat he'd paid for on the aeroplane, it was the passengers that had caught that footage, and that went viral.
Yeah.
So to be honest, everybody should be up to speed on engaging with the media.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that we need to be. What are companies and C-suite level people missing out on by not doing this?
I think fundamentally there's obviously the exposure, because the one thing, the one of the best and fastest ways to grow your business is by engaging with the media in today's age more than ever, because it's not just about TV and radio and magazines and newspapers. It's much more about the digital platforms and the online spaces that exist. And if they're not doing it, their competitors are. So, to get messages out quickly, to really be targeted. I'm not saying that, for any business, you just put a lot of things out there. I'm saying, you choose your mediums and you focus on those. So that's the first thing. It's the exposure that it can actually give in terms of speed and scale. And then I think there's another piece there as well, which is very much around embracing the change and moving with the times, because this is the medium that the younger generation really understands. And we're really all missing a trick if we're not tapping into that younger generation, who could well be our audience, the people who buy our products, the people who want our services.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of those things for sure, and then there's this whole piece around building the reputation of the business. And I always say Warren Buffett said it best, because he said it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you do that, if you think about that, you'll do things differently. Okay. And reputation and media really go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can really work to building up your reputation with what we're talking about here, but what else are the benefits of working with the media and doing the things that you're helping people to do?
I think really, there's so many stories that any organization or company has within it, just internal stories through their own staff that not only, it might not be for the external market, but internally aren't shared either. And at a time when we really need to boost morale, when, we want our staff to feel proud about the organization, we want to share best practice, all of these things tap into the media. Because when I'm using that word media, of course, I'm talking about the bigger organizations, but let's not forget that, most companies will have an intranet site. And there's no reason why, what I'm talking about cannot be projected or put on those sites and shared on a bigger scale. So I think there's a lot there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you have created a free event that people can come and find out more about, which you're calling Smash the Media Myth. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit more about what is going to be happening with that event.
So many wonderful things. Primarily, the event is really to explore what the big issues are when it comes to engaging with the media. And obviously, I don't want to give everything away here, but sure. I do want to cover off the sort of things that I'll be speaking about on this topic about smashing the media myth, because there is a myth that exists with the media. And often I find it acts as a huge deterrent. It's a real wall that those that break through it and smash through it see the benefits and really thrive. But most people just kind of sort of see the wall and think, mm-mm. So, it's all about kind of sort of, number one, what the media can do for you, but number two, smashing through this wall. And you can only smash it through it when you identify what the real issues are, what the real, what people are really scared about. What are they fearful of when it comes to the media? Once you've identified those, then I'm going to be looking at all the opportunities that do exist. Because that in itself will say to people, actually, sometimes people think, oh, I work in just this sector. I work in training. So, I can only really do an interview. I can only really talk about this. And I'd like people to broaden that out a little bit, because of course they're going to be an expert in their own sector about their own business. But there are other opportunities that they could be tapping into that they're losing sight of.
Yeah.
And then I want to move on to really kind of sort of, well, okay, so you've agreed to embrace the media. You're taking your little steps forward. And then, what do you need to do to prepare for an interview? So a journalist calls you, you've put something out, you've contacted the journalist, they're calling you. What do you need to do in terms of your prep? Because let's make no mistake, to get it right in the media, it really helps to get something in place, some sort of training, some sort of experience, some sort of insight from somebody in the industry. And so, we're looking at preparation. Off the back of the preparation, we are looking at, those good interviews. What stands out from those really good interviews? What makes them great interviews?
Yeah.
And also that really famous thing, no comment. People say no comment. What does that mean? And is it okay to say that?
Right.
In
certain situations, there's a lot to this, and I know that the path a lot of people end up taking is one of, I'll figure it out, I'll do it by myself, or that is a slow, long path. And if you are doing interviews or you're in the public eye as representing yourself or your business in any kind of way, then if you are not doing that to the best of your ability, you are not doing a good service to your business, to your company, to your brand. It's actually could be damaging in those sorts of regards. So winging it or figuring it out along the way really is not a great way to go. You might think you're great, and other people may not. That what actually gets received may not be the same as what you feel that you've put out there. Or if you feel that just showing up is enough, I think it's that, again, it's that you could be so much more than that with a bit of help from the right people. So this is really powerful stuff. I can see so many areas in which this could be applicable and useful to people. And I think it's great that you are specifically focusing on C-suite and executive level people for this. Now, this is going to be a free event. When are you going to be doing it?
So this is on Tuesday, the 15th of June at 11 o'clock in the morning. So, put the date in your diary, because it's really one not to be missed. And as you say, Johnny, this is not something you can wing. It's not something you can wing it, because the repercussions of it are so much bigger when you do that. Some things we all feel, okay, we could just scrape by with it. Not this. This you have to put the prep in for, but the rewards and the results are so much more powerful and so much bigger than you can than you can imagine as well.
Fantastic. So it's going to be 11 a.m. UK time on Tuesday, the 15th of June. And how long will the session be running for?
It's a 1-hour session. So, I'm looking, I'll probably do 45 minutes and then 15 minutes for Q&A. I might just tap into sort of the odd question that comes up as we go along, but definitely there'll be time for Q&A at the end.
Fantastic. So that's going to be well worth taking an hour out of anyone's day and time to go and learn from a professional such as yourself, who has such great experience and a real passion for what they're doing as well. And Arti, how can people register their place for their free seat at the event?
So it's all on LinkedIn. So, LinkedIn, if you go to Arti Halai, you'll see a registration link there, or under events, it's called Smashing the Media Myth. Just click on that link and, you'll get the Zoom invite.
Right. So for people watching the replay, which should probably be most of the people who see this, I will retroactively put the link in the replay. You'll see it in the notes there, and you can click on the link directly to go and register your free seat at the event. Check it out. Spend an hour with Arti, and I promise you it'll be well worth your time. You're going to learn from a real professional and an expert. Absolutely fantastic. Arti, is there anything else you want to say before we close off the live stream?
No, just sorry, I'm suffering really bad from hay fever. So, this is not a good time to have a coughing fit or, tears and.
Don't worry, it happens. It's that time of year, right? However, make sure you pop yourself a Claritin or so before you do your live stream.
Oh well, I had something this morning, but for me, it's just I don't know what it is. It's a problem in my throat at the moment. But you see, you can still continue a live stream. You can still be fine. People are human, right? So there's nothing wrong if it doesn't go to plan or it's not perfect. It's okay. But as long as you can pick up off the back of it.
There you go. So hopefully that's something people are learning and taking away from this already. So you can check out the event, which is called Smashing the Media Myth. You'll find it in LinkedIn events. You can also look up Arti Halai on LinkedIn and you'll find it through her profile. And if go back on the replay, I'll make sure that the links are there for you to go directly through. Check into the event. Let us know how you get on with that. And I know you're going to have an amazing time. I'm going to do my very best to be there as well. Arti, thank you for coming and joining me today. I hope it's a super successful event and that you have an amazing rest of your day and weekend.
Johnny, thank you so much. Did I ever tell you you're the best?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.